If you are into fish farming, one of the most painful experiences is waking up to mortality or deaths of your fish. And the kind of mortality I'm talking about is not the kind of mortality that will give you signs for some days before showing up. I'm talking about the kind of mortality that would not give you any sign. I mean, the previous evening, your fish were hale and hearty. They were very active and they were doing just fine. But you arrive your farm the following morning, as usual, just to feed your fish, and then you saw some fish floating dead. In a situation like this, one of the first thoughts that comes to the mind of a typical farmer is thoughts whether somebody poisoned the fish, which is possible, but in most cases, that's not the reality. And I'm going to explain to you in details, in simple terms, and in clear terms. Because some other people believe it is village people that is doing them, and some other farmers believe it is a strange disease,
This thing is not
which is not. Because in fish farming, diseases do not kill fish that quickly. The pathogens will need to grow or thrive before it can harm the fish or even kill the fish. So, if it is diseases in fish farming, you would have seen signs of sickness. So you see, the kind of mortality we are talking about here is not the one that will show signs of sickness. It's the kind of mortality where while you were leaving the farm in the evening previously, everything was okay. The fish was fine. They were active, hale and hearty. But when you got to the farm in the morning, you saw some fish already dead. Yes, that's the kind of mortality we are dealing with here. And when this happens, an average farmer is confused. Yes, because this mortality or deaths of fish comes without warning signs. The cause is not even what most people think. And in this video, I will be explaining why your fish suddenly die and you meet mortality in the morning. I will be showing you how to prevent this loss before it happens again on your farm. But before you understand how you can prevent this loss, you need to first understand what is going on inside your pond. Please pay attention to this, because this is one of the reasons why some farmers lose money without understanding the actual problem. And if you don't understand the cause, it can happen again. Now, what is really happening? Us human beings are more active during the day, and that is why we focus more on the daytime, because that is when we are active around the pond. But the most critical time for your fish is not daytime. In fact, it is the other way around. The most critical time for your fish is from late night hours to early morning. And I'm going to show you why this is so. But during this period, oxygen can drop to dangerous levels. And when it drops too low, your fish begins to struggle. By the time you wake up and arrive at your farm, you may find some fish already dead. The question you would want to ask is that why does this mostly happen in the morning? This is what many people don't know, and this is what many farmers should know. During the day, sunlight helps green plants to produce food. Now, algae is in this category. There are also some other green plants that you may not see with your physical eyes. They are called microscopic plants. Now, don't forget where we are coming from. Sunlight helps green plants produce food. Sunlight helps algae produce food. Sunlight helps green plants that you may not see to produce food. Now, when they produce food, in the process, oxygen is released into the water. This oxygen they release in the pond water is highly beneficial for your fish. Oh, so it means during the day, oxygen is much more available in your pond water than in the night. Because in the night, there is no sunlight to help the green plants produce food. And it is in the process of the food production that they release oxygen into the water. Now, at night, the fish keeps breathing. The fish continue their metabolic activities. It means that they begin to use up more oxygen in the water. Some waste that are in the pond begins to decompose, and while they decompose, they use up oxygen. That means oxygen keeps reducing throughout the night, and the point where oxygen is lowest is just before sunrise, because oxygen has been depleted all along from the late night through the morning. So that is why fish mortality most times occurs in the morning or just before sunrise. That is why when you see that everything was okay in the evening, you went to sleep, and when you arrive at your farm, you find some mortality or fish death in the morning. This is because oxygen has been reduced all through the night. So the point and the peak where this will affect your fish will be in the early morning just before sunrise. And that's why many times when you record this mortality, you see that they are fresh mortalities. They are not mortalities that have happened for long, maybe in the late night. You notice that no, this fish just died recently. Yes, because that effect, that oxygen reduction has been long overdue. They have been struggling, and it affected them to the point of death in that early morning. Do you get the idea now? Yes. And many of you practicing farmer watching me right now, you can relate with what I'm saying. After feeding in the evening, you check your fish around 6 p.m. and everything was fine. They look okay, they look very healthy, and you went home happily. Lo and behold, you came back the following morning and you noticed some dead fish. What has happened? Oxygen reduced overnight. Because during the night, while men slept, the fish were still breathing. The organic waste was decomposing. Those green plants that you may not see with your eyes and algae were not producing food because there was no sunlight to help them. So, fresh oxygen was not entering the water, but the organisms in the water were using up oxygen. This is why oxygen reduced. That was why you met mortality. And this is why a farmer can record losses even without obvious signs. This is why fish can appear healthy in the evening and still die before morning. Now that you understand the cause, and now that you know why this is happening, I'm now going to show you how to avoid this unnecessary loss. Because there are common situations that makes the matter worse. This issue where even after your fish were very healthy in the evening, you meet mortality in the morning, is most likely to happen in certain situations. What are the situations? One of them is overfeeding. When you feed them more than they need or more than they can consume, the uneaten feed settles in the pond. And guess what? It decomposes. During decomposition, it uses up oxygen. This is how this makes the matter worse. And hey, talking about how well to feed your fish, I wrote a book on feeding errors that slow down your fish growth. This book, many farmers have read it and they have applied the principle in it, and their profits have begun to turn around. Believe me, if you read this book and apply the principles inside, your fish growth will begin to do well and your profits will begin to skyrocket. Now, this book is available in 2 versions. You can download the ebook directly on your phone as an instant access, on your device as an instant access, and I'll put the link in the description of this video. You can also get the hard copy, which is very good for references, for documentation, and for easy access on the farm. I will also put the link to get that in the description of this video. There are reviews here and there about this book and how it has helped farmers and transformed their farming business. You don't want to miss this book for anything in this world. Trust me, this is a book you want to read as a fish farmer. Another very common situation that makes it easy for this issue of sudden mortality to occur in the morning is dirty water. The more waste you have in your water, the more the oxygen is reduced. Another common situation that makes it likely for mortality to occur very early in the morning is overstocking, overcrowding. If there are too many fish in a limited space, that's a call for competition for oxygen. So all the fish in that limited space will compete for oxygen. And finally, another major situation that makes it more likely for that kind of mortality to occur is poor water exchange. Don't underestimate this. See, a pond water that is stagnant for too long will worsen the issue. It will make it most likely for mortality to happen in the morning because oxygen depletion is quicker to take place in this scenario. These are things that when you always pay attention to them, you will no longer have the issue of sudden death or sudden mortality. Never again. Are you aware that even though this issue of sudden mortality in the morning does not come with obvious signs for some number of days, it will still show you signs? Yes, fish will always communicate to their farmers. That's if you care to listen. There are signs to watch out for. So, what are the things to watch out for? Very early in the morning, you will see fish gathering near the water surface. You will see them gasping for air. You will notice that the feeding response will reduce. You may notice that your fish will cluster around your water inlet. These are signs that the oxygen in the pond water is low and your fish is communicating with you. Your fish are telling you that, dear farmer, oxygen is low in this pond water. Yes, your fish is speaking with you. And anytime you notice all of these signs that I mentioned, you need to act fast. There are things you need to do immediately. You may need to introduce fresh water immediately. You may need to reduce the feeding temporarily. You may want to aerate the pond. And of course, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you are not causing or constituting any form of stress. So, if you want to prevent this issue, what are the things you must do to prevent sudden mortality or sudden death of your fish? Monitor your ponds. Avoid overstocking or overcrowding your fish. Manage feeding properly. Remove excess waste. Ensure regular water change. And you should aerate your pond if or when necessary. Now, share your experience with us in the comment section. Have you ever noticed fish deaths in the morning? What exactly did you notice before it happened? If this video makes sense to you, please leave a comment and tell us what stood out for you. Kindly hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want this platform to push more valuable content like this to you. Thank you.